Coming up on this week's show, we round out one of our last podcasts of the year by talking about Michael Sheen being cast as the 14th Doctor, new rumours on who might and might not be appearing in future Doctor Who specials, Doctor Who clickbait and why it's the biggest pain in the arse ever, and a little bit more info from Mandip Gill on Eve of the Daleks.
I'm the Doctor. I'm a Time Lord. I'm from the planet Gallifrey in the constellation of Kasterborous.
I hope the ears are a bit less conspicuous this time.
You might be a doctor, but I am.
I'm a doctor, but probably not the one you expect.
Absolutely fantastic.
All of time and space, everything that ever happened or ever will. Where do you want to start?
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Big Ronnie Inside the New Who Doctor Who Watch Long podcast. It's me, Tim Saxby. Hi, how are you doing? Now, we've got a kind of a different sort of show for you this week. As has become quite common recently, no Harry. So standing in for him this week, as always, is Harrison. How are you doing, Harrison?
Hello. Like return of the Mac, you might say. But yes, I am here again to talk about some news.
Let's get the obvious out of the way. Is that the audio isn't as good as it normally is. And why is that? Well, it's kind of my fault. I ended up, I think I'm the first out of the three of us to get COVID. I'm doing all right. I feel awful, but I feel fine enough to talk about Doctor Who for a little bit. So we'll see how this goes. If you're wondering how I got it, I believe I just got it through work. I work at nightclubs, so I guess was going to get it at some point. So yeah, and just the way it happens to fall, and with technology and stuff, it's me and Harrison this week. Next week, the current plan is to have no news segment, and we're going to do a best of that will accompany the final part of Ark in Space. So that's what you'll get next week. Should we start off with some good news, Harrison?
Yeah, let's start off with some good news. Do you want me to announce this, or do you want to do the honours of this huge achievement?
I'll go for it.
You do it, mate. This is yours.
We finally hit 1,000 subscribers, which is massively appreciated for everybody who helps get there. All 1,000 of you. We thought we were going to get there last week. And I'll admit it, I think we were a week late on reaching that target, but we got it, and I think we were all quite pleased when it arrived. I think we were also quite pleased it didn't just stay at 1,000; it sort of built, and I think we're currently at 1,030, which is quite nice. That in the last couple of days, we've sort of picked up a few more guys along the way. So if you have subscribed, you are listening, thank you very much. I think we do massively appreciate it. We do have a really cool 1,000 subscribers thing coming up that I know you were quite excited about, Harrison. I've told you about it, haven't I?
Yeah.
The thing we're doing for 1,000 subscribers.
Oh yeah, no, I've heard about it. Yeah, we're going to watch every episode of Classic Who from Unearthly Child to current. Yeah,
I can tell you now that is not going to be the case. But no, it's we've got something really cool coming up, which is a Big Ronnie Inside exclusive. No other Doctor Who YouTubers are doing it. So yeah, that's cool. So should we go straight into some news, Harrison?
Yes, mate. Let's talk some news.
Okay,
so if we're going in order,
it's a bit of a strange one. This first one. It was there's a Facebook page called Doctor Who Page, and they do post updates on Doctor Who rumours and stuff like that. And in the past, they've been pretty good with reliability. And then one popped up this week that I couldn't help us not talk about, because it's the fact that for the Doctor Who Centenary special, the very final episode of Jodie Whittaker's era, Doctor Who Page is claiming that Gemma Redgrave, who plays Kate Stewart, Sacha Dhawan will return as the Master, and also John Barrowman as Captain Jack Harkness, as well as Bradley Walsh as Graham. So we already know Bradley Walsh is returning as Graham. We saw those set photos. I think I did a video on it. Sacha Dhawan's Master is kind of obvious. They've already hinted at it. Now, I want to get into the Barrowman and Kate thing, because there were several rumours that, because talking about the fact that all the stuff that came out about John Barrowman, that I believe, and it's my opinion, that he was meant to appear in Flux and perhaps have some role in that, but that was sort of taken over by the involvement of Kate Stewart, and that sort of took over that sort of role instead. It's kind of hard to talk about, but I just want to sort of, I don't particularly feel, if it is true, that it's the right idea.
Yeah, like, I get what you mean. Like, even by talking about it, we're kind of hopping, like, on the controversy train, the controversial train. But I get what you mean by, like, him potentially having a role in Flux. I very much saw, like, Vinder's character as kind of like a version of Jack, if you get what I mean. Just the whole, like, like, kind of like agent thing or whatnot. I mean, I'm open for him to returning. All I can say is just that, I mean, I know that he's a, like, good guy. I mean, it's sort of, I know him like personally, obviously.
Yeah.
But I believe that he would have, like, learned from his behavior and etiquette. And
I think it's one of those things where it's like,
believe,
the character is so good. The character of Captain Jack is really good. And I think that's what bums a lot of Doctor Who fans out, is the fact it's like, I really want to see the character again, but by doing that, you don't want to then be excusing of what happened. Or what allegedly happened. I personally just think it's too soon. I feel like you shouldn't do it. And I again, at the moment, it's just a rumor. But the reason I've brought it up is because I'd quite like to hear what other people say. So if you do have an opinion on it, do leave it in the comments, because I'm quite interested to know, like, because it's different, isn't it? It's really tricky to talk about, because it's like, you really love those characters, and it's a shame that those characters, you might not see them again ever, or for at least a good while, just because of the actions of the person who portrays that character. Obviously, you can recast and stuff like that, but is it a case of, I would rather never see that character again than endorse what's happened? And excuse what's happened, or just kind of forget about it and bring the characters back, and we'll just pretend it never happened. It's a tricky one.
It is a very tricky one, mate. Honestly, like, I completely agree. Like, I do believe he's going to return at some point. I mean, us guys aren't talking, like, because I know when these headlines came out, it was kind of paired with the whole Noel Clarke thing, which was on a completely other, do you know what I mean? Which is obviously, a shame. But obviously, I just think because it came out at the time of that, it was, like, kind of classed as the same thing, when in actuality it really isn't. I do believe he will return, but if it happened in this era in particular, I would agree that it is too soon. I could perhaps image it happening, like, in the new R2D RTD2 era. God, Jesus, era, that I could image it happening in there, rather so, I'd say.
I think he just needs time to breathe, and I feel like what a lot of people were more bummed out about was the I know we're not going to talk about this for much longer, but was the, like, how irresponsible it seemed to be. Like, he didn't really seem to take. He sort of apologized for it, but he was like, "Hey, I apologized for this already, and it's who I am." And then, of course, more recently there was that horrible video where he's at a convention, standing in front of all those fans, saying, "No matter what you say, they still love me." And I'm going, "Oh no, John, what have you done?"
Well,
because I feel like as Doctor Who fans, as Doctor Who fans, like, we liked John Barrowman. And we want to like him, and it's sort of like the horrible child of the family. Like, stop doing shitty stuff. We're trying to help you. You're not helping yourself, man. You know what I mean?
I honestly believe he's going to learn from it, and that he will return. But his attitude right now is a bit like, it's almost like he's aware that he's going to return, and that he's acting as if he will. But
exactly.
It has to be earned. It's got to be earned.
Yeah, let's talk about some more exciting stuff. Let's talk about Eve of the Daleks. Doctor Who's Mad at Guilty's is confusing New Year's Day special. I'm just scrolling through here. So on Digital Spy, speaking to Doctor Who magazine, she explained, we do a lot of running, and it got quite confusing at times, being trapped in a time loop repeating the same scenes, and it gets closer and closer to midnight. Each time they filmed a scene, they would be for different versions of time as the loop kept resetting, and Gil kept having to ask the director which version this is again, as she knew straight away. She added, "I get excited. I'm excited to see it. When you read on paper, it's hard to imagine what it's going to look like, but it was good fun to film. It was great having Aisling B with us. She's so funny, so funny. We had some great times. Plus, we got to fight the Daleks again." So, like what we said the other week when you were on, it does seem like it's going to be a time loopy. I think you said you compared it to Edge of Tomorrow.
Yes, I did. Yeah, it definitely hands off that vibe of live, die, repeat for sure.
Yeah.
I honestly think this works really well for the Daleks. Because what I've always hated is how the Daleks obviously are very powerful, and this gives them the chance to keep killing over and over again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So actual harm coming to the main characters and actually showing the Daleks as a powerful force. Because I mean, although that has happened in this era, it would be really cool to kind of see it play out on the companions and the Doctor, to actually see them die.
Yeah.
It sounds awful. But
I think it's got like a sort of a Dalek in series 1. It seems to have that sort of vibe to it, like they're in a base and there's just there's a Daleks. They're sort of hunting them down. It looks quite good.
It's really contained. I think that's what really makes a good Dalek story, is if it's a very contained environment. I'll say, like part of the ways you've got Satellite 5 Dalek, you've got the underground basement thing.
Yeah.
So I've got high hopes for this, and obviously I know we talked about the trailer and the other time we did the news, but I think the trailer for this looks great, and I'm really intrigued to see where this is going to go. Like, I don't believe that we're going to get Davros or anything. I think this will be really contained.
Yeah.
But I really hope to see the Daleks as a real threatening force, because I don't think we had that in a lot of Moffat's era. So I'm glad it's in Chib's era.
Yeah, and I quite like the fact that they appeared fleetingly throughout Flux as well. So it's almost like just keeping them in the zeitgeist sort of thing. And I wonder how much of that's going to play into what we're going to see.
That's the thing, isn't it? Obviously, at the end of Flux, the Daleks and the Cybermen get wiped out. But as it's a Dalek story, one ship survived, as it always does. So I'm curious to see how they're going to actually tell us how the Daleks are around. Because obviously, I really hope it's not just the usual take it out their arse. Oh, yeah, there's always one ship that lives, and they actually give us a valid excuse rather than just it's a New Year's Day thing. Daleks are back.
Yeah.
If you get what I mean, yeah.
It should be. I'm looking forward to it. And I mean, I really like the fact that we get the Daleks once a year. It's
definitely.
Yeah, it's good. It's refreshing, and when they actually appear, it's more exciting.
No, it is, isn't it? They hype it up, and I'm glad they're not. I mean, although I love Russell's era, it got to the point towards the end of Tennant's time, it's the Daleks are here again. I mean, okay, cool, but let's have a breather.
Yeah. In that series, it was really sort of like they were either a mid-series villain, which made the episodes kind of weak, or they were a big series finale villain. But no, I think. But this has changed it up quite. It's one of the.
No, it has.
It's one of the better things of the Chibnall era, I would say.
No, absolutely. And I honestly believe that helps with viewership as well. Because families or whatnot be the Daleks were in the episode or happens to be on New Year's Day. So I think that helps as well with the appeal. But as long as they justify to why the Daleks are here after Flux, because I think it worked really well. From I'm terrible names. Revolution from
Revelation.
From Revolution to.
Who cares?
You all sound the same as the classic.
I just couldn't care. I'm just trying to look here because we did have some news here on Bad Wolf Studios, but I'm searching the net for it. And I cannot find it at all.
Yeah.
It's completely disappeared. I wonder if it was something that was posted and shouldn't. Oh, here it is. From Radio Times, Doctor Who producer Bad Wolf could be the biggest. Doctor Who producer Bad Wolf could be the biggest drama producer in Britain, says Sony. Sony Pictures is now a majority stakeholder in the Cardiff Bay makers of Doctor Who. Sony Pictures invested 50 million into the Welsh drama producers Bad Wolf in hopes of helping the makers of Doctor Who and His Dark Material reach its zenith. I've never heard of that word.
Whoa. I haven't either, to be fair. What's that?
They're saying we had investment in a company that has now not reached its zenith. Oh, I can't even be bothered to read this. But basically, let's just talk about the fact that, there is clearly a quite a big future for Bad Wolf at the moment. You look at something like His Dark Materials, and then you look at something like what Doctor Who is doing at the moment, and I think there is a quality difference. His Dark Materials looks a lot better than Doctor Who.
Yeah, I have to be honest. Yeah,
so I'm looking
even
forward
in the
to seeing how that's gonna, how Doctor Who is now going to adapt to that.
I honestly believe this gives me a lot of hype anyway for this new era, because if you've got a huge company such as Sony and they've gone here's 50 million quid, that clearly shows that they've got faith in what's happening. So I presume that they would have heard what the plan is or the direction that Doctor Who is going to go in, and they've clearly got faith in it, which I believe is a great indication of them trusting in Russell and him as a brand. Like, I really hope they haven't just gone, oh yeah, like he's a good writer, that they've actually heard his ideas and potential scripts or whatnot they've actually seen. But I think this is great, and it does, like, it gives me hopes as well, because like I do think that like this era of Doctor in particular in like series 11, they clearly upped the budget. It looked more like Netflix or whatnot, and now hearing that, it's like, oh wow, is this gonna go higher now?
Yeah, because I was watching Superman and Lois on the BBC the other day, and I was watching this fight sequences, and it looked like something you'd see in a movie. It was just so good. And then I watched Doctor Who on the Sunday night, and I was like, geez, like what's happening here? This isn't very good. And like I spoke to people about it, and some people were like, yeah, I know it's bad. But then some people were like, yeah, but I don't want Doctor Who to be Americanized. I'm like, I'm not saying it should be Americanized. I'm just saying it should it should just look good. Like the green screen shouldn't look so bad.
Yeah, of course. I mean, because that's the thing in it. Because obviously, I know a lot of Flux in particular was done over COVID. So, like, a lot of the CGI was probably like done from home, you could say. But at the same time, though, it is a bit like, like Doctor Who should look, like at the top anyway. I mean, even in like classic Who or whatnot, like at times it looked really good, at times it looked really bad. It's even happened in like New Who as well. So it is a bit up and down, but I kind of like, I would hope to hear as a fan of the show, if they had an extra 50 million quid, that they'd, up it a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the thing is, we know they now have put 50 million quid into Bad Wolf Studios. So if we're watching it now and we're going, don't look much better, we're going, where did that 50 million quid go? Meanwhile, Russell C. Davies drives around Wales in a nice Bugatti Veyron or something like that. I don't think we know where that money went.
I can see that happening, to be honest, unfortunately.
Maybe. Chris Chibnall, he's been talking about the 14th Doctor. This is through the Express. He says, Jodie Whittaker's replacement will be fantastic, teases Chris Chibnall. I'm just looking for a quote.
It's Eccleston. He used the word fantastic. It's Eccleston. He's back. Sorry.
According to Radio Times, Stephen Moffat spoke about the hit. Hang on, what? Hey? Hang on, this doesn't make any. 1 second.
Are you talking about Chris Chibnall, Stephen Moffat. I did have a glimpse of that. It was more Moffat aimed.
Yeah, well, hang on. Well, let's just address this anyway. Let's talk about something different. The headline here is Doctor Who. Jodie Whittaker's replacement will be fantastic, teases showrunner. Who is the Doctor Who showrunner at the moment?
Chris Chibnall.
Doctor Who's former showrunner, Stephen Moffat, has hinted that the next stage... Okay, so let's talk about this, because I've noticed it a lot through the Express, and you might have noticed it as well, Harrison. It's just the amount of rubbish they publish with the Doctor Who thing, because they know it gets clicks. And normally we don't fall for it on the channel, because normally we really do read the stuff due to stuff that's gone on this week, i.e. I've been incredibly sick. Some stuff has clearly slipped through. But it's just like, this isn't... Why are they reporting? Why have they... Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, because clearly... you hear that headline, Doctor Who showrunners, you think, oh, that must be Chris Chibnall, that must be in the future, and it's like former showrunner Stephen Moffat. It's like, but yeah, it's just like any YouTuber and trying to get like clickbait or whatnot. I know it doesn't happen on this channel, but with everyone else, that's just. I mean, it's good work because it's ended up in the show today. So
yeah, I know we felt
it's worked, hasn't it? So yeah.
It's like, there's another one here. Doctor Who, Jodie Whittaker to be replaced by Ramesh Ranganathan.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow, it's happening. All that's confirmed, then, is it? Oh, there you go.
What else do we have here from the Express? David Tennant on phone call from the new Doctor Who. Very exciting. And you click on it, and it's an interview from David Tennant from about 2018 on the Graham Norton show. Where he talked before Jodie Whittaker before her first series was even announced.
Isn't it?
And like, I get it. Like, they want people to go on their website, but I don't. It's not journalism.
It's not. It isn't ideal. It's just they're just like recycling titles with old news. I mean, it's worked, but.
What do you read any stuff and think, oh, that's interesting, and click on it, and then it is just clickbait?
All the time, mate. In particular on, I kind of think Facebook is like the worst like source of it. I'll be honest. When like
people just read the headline and they just share it.
No, of course, it's just like it's getting out of hand because it gets everyone to click on it, but at the same time, it's either old news or something that's not irrelevant at all, something very like minor, and you just think to yourself, what was the point? I mean, half the time, all these articles, even these headlines, like don't require like a 2-page article. It could just be like one paragraph, but they have to drag it out.
Well, when I used to work for What Culture, and I did a couple of weeks. I did a couple of weeks at Screen Rant as well. But they basically this is what they did with Screen Rant is that you've got to stop fiddling with that Cyberman. It's doing my head in. I can hear it. Put it down. Everyone can hear it. It's so annoying.
I didn't realize it was that loud.
Yeah. So basically, Screen Rant, what they say is they're basically like, say if for Doctor Who instantly, say David Tennant has said something about who he thinks should be the 14th Doctor, and you have a quote. That quote cannot appear until the third paragraph. The first paragraph is setting up what you're going to talk about. The second paragraph is then talking about what's happened, what's led up to that. The third paragraph is then what it is. And then the fourth and fifth paragraph is reflecting on what the third paragraph was. Between the first and second paragraph, I think, or the second and third, is you have to include a link to another Screen Rant article about the same thing. And then you also, within the text, you have to embed links to... So each paragraph has to have a minimum, I think, of one link to another source. So paragraph 1 will have a link to another Screen Rant article. Paragraph 2 will have another link to a Screen Rant article. Then between 2 and 3, there's another link. And then in paragraph 3, you've got your text, what you're actually interested in. And then the rest of it is just padding. And it is just to get the search engine optimization up. It's ridiculous, yeah. And that was one of the reasons why I was like, I don't want to do this
it.
because it was so you're so compromising what you need to say and what's interesting just to get clicks on the website. And there has to be a middle ground. And it was like, with What Culture was better for that. They didn't really restrict you too much on what they did. I mean, I'll talk.
Thankfully,
one day I will talk about my experience with What Culture because in the end it was appalling what happened at What Culture.
Ooh, yeah.
But like, at least one thing I will say is like their creative freedom on a lot of stuff and what you could talk about, and was just a lot better than it was at Screen Rant.
Yeah, well, there you heard it, folks. When we hit 2,000 subscribers, you're going to get an insight into What Culture.
Okay, fair enough. If we hit 2,000 subscribers, when we do, I'll talk about What Culture. I'll save it. It's not that exciting, but I feel like it's interesting.
And on this channel, it will be an exclusive content.
And we can talk about like how you get paid and all that stuff. That'll be, I think, be quite interesting.
Money.
Let's move on to the last piece of news. Oh, hang on. Doctor Who has just tweeted. What have they just tweeted? Oh, it's just a set photo.
It's 14th Doctor.
Just a new photo of Yaz, Dan, and the Doctor there.
Oh wow! Oh, that tells us everything about the new episode. That tells us so much. That TARDIS and complaint. Oh yeah.
Here we go. Let's try and get this last piece of news up here. Where is it?
Yes.
It's because I've got so many links open. So, okay, this is something that I think is quite interesting. Michael Sheen has spoken about the fact that he could be the 14th Doctor. This is from the Metro, a nice source. Thank you, Louise Griffin. Doctor Who, Michael Sheen rules out 14th Doctor role after it being voted fan favourite. He says, "It ain't me." The Good Omens actor is no stranger to the spot of time travel, passing through the decades in his last film, Last Train to Christmas. But as for whether abouts he'd take the keys to the TARDIS, that's not so sure. He says, "I must say I'm very flattered. There's been a lot of people, particularly Doctor Who fans, who said they would like to see me as Doctor Who. That's incredibly flattering. I have to say, none of those people work on Doctor Who, so I have not heard from them. I would be very surprised myself if when the Doctor transforms, it is me, because presumably the person who's doing it already knows, and it ain't me." Interesting, because he is a fan favorite and he gets thrown around a lot. Michael Sheen, he does a lot of stuff with David Tennant. He works in the similar circles, and yeah, I can see why people would like him to be the Doctor. What would your thoughts be on Michael Sheen as the Doctor?
I mean, it's interesting because like I'll be open to it. As I've always said, I'm open to anyone playing the role. But in terms of him in particular, it's interesting because you know how he's, I don't know if you're aware, but he's already been in Doctor Who. He's in the Smith era. He played House in The Doctor's Wife.
Did he?
Yes, you know the entity that takes over the TARDIS?
Yes.
So like he does the voice of that. He's like, try me. I've killed like hundreds of times. The Doctor goes, I've killed them. Yes, so he plays House. It'd be cool to see him as the Doctor, but I'd rather see him as a like villain again, to be honest, just because of that role and how intimidating he was. Yeah,
my problem with it is that I can see him as Doctor Who, but I feel like whenever I fan cast, I cast as a whole. I don't just cast the Doctor. I cast for the show and the brand and everything you have to do that comes with Doctor Who.
The whole package,
Yeah, the merchandising, the publicity and stuff like that. And I can't see that being something that Michael Sheen would particularly enjoy. I can't see him at conventions and stuff like that. And I could be totally wrong and he might do it, but I've never seen him on a convention scene. And I feel like...
very true.
He's quite an outspoken actor. He speaks his opinions a lot on stuff. And I just don't know if that's something that the show would want to be associated. Not that he's got any bad opinions, but it's that grey area, isn't it? With the BBC, especially if you express an opinion, then basically you're in trouble.
You get cancelled.
But no, I think he would be a really good Doctor. If they ever did a Doctor Who movie, Michael Sheen would be fantastic.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
But he's an actor, and he's only like, I think I've said it before. I said it on Twitter. he's an actor who I don't think would make a good Doctor Who, but he's a fantastic actor, and he would make a good Doctor Who. I could see him as it, but if I watch it, I just couldn't. I don't think I would be as invested in it, and it's really hard to. It's like Rowan Atkinson. I think he would make a great Doctor Who, but I couldn't believe
and he was Doctor Who, wasn't he?
Do you know what I mean? Like, if I watched it, I couldn't convincingly say. I couldn't ignore the fact that what I was seeing was Michael Sheen or Rowan Atkinson or Richard E. Grant or Hugh Grant or whoever. You know, these big British actors whose names get thrown around a lot. I would only ever see them. I wouldn't see the
rather
Doctor.
than the Doctor.
Yeah,
rather than the Doctor. Yeah, I mean, I get what you mean. Like, I could tell, if he was, and if he did end up as the Doctor, I could definitely see him going quite well with Capaldi's version of the role, a lot more on that like darker side. But then I'll just get hesitant again. You know what you talked about earlier with the whole like thing with the branding and how they changed. Capaldi's brand from series 8 to 9, where he started off all like dark, and then he clearly opened up. It was almost like they completely changed direction. That's what I'll be hesitant with this. But as you said, he's a great actor. But it's quite hard. Obviously, he's more. I don't know if he's more like known than the previous actors. I mean, obviously at the time of their casting. But I definitely like know him more than if I was to hear about like David Tennant at that time before he got casted. So it'd be interesting if he would like hand a very different performance to what he normally does, or if it would just kind of be like in the vein of his like normal work, like on Omens or whatnot.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I don't see it. I don't think it is going to be Michael. I can see why, I can see why people want it to be Michael and why they think he would be great.
Yeah, no,
I feel like saying Michael Sheen is a very safe choice as saying Chris Marshall. I feel there are more interesting options available.
Yeah, and also as well, this happens every time, that there's like rumors about who the Doctor is or whatnot, who the next cast is. I mean, I don't know if it's actually happened, because I know that when Jodie got casted, she was she was in the runnings, but it was very. I only saw
Jodie's name once in the runnings.
Yeah, same.
And it was like the day before, and I remember reading it to somebody, and I read there was like 3 people from Broadchurch, and this is the only time Jodie's name had been added to the list. And I said it, and who I was with at the time went, "Oh, they've just put that on there because she's in Broadchurch." It was like they were just like adding, and then we watched the announcement at Wimbledon the next day. It's like, oh bloody hell, it's Jodie Whittaker.
Yeah, that's the thing, innit? Because like, I mean, I honestly believe that every time we are on this like rumor hype train, that it always turns out to be the person that we like is like hardly.
They were there all along, really, weren't they? Like, they were there, but we never saw them. Yeah.
Yeah, like almost like a dark horse of sorts, they're there, but they just, and that's the thing. Obviously, like if I hear the name Chris Marshall like one more time, I'm gonna be like, well, no, he's not gonna be the Doctor. I'd be very surprised if he was.
We get comments on the channel where people tell us their thoughts on who the next Doctor would be, and they're always great. But there's always one like every week where it's like, I would like it to be Chris Marshall, Michael Sheen, or Rupert Grint. Those are the 3 names, and they always come together. And I feel they're just such safe choice. I mean, Rupert Grint, cool, yeah, I'd love that.
Same. I think it'd be sick.
But they're just like, I think they're quite safe.
No, they are. Yeah, I mean, I honestly believe, and as you said earlier about the BBC as a brand, they like to be very much diverse, and I definitely think they've hit that with Joe Martin and Jodie Whittaker, but I just hope the casting isn't purely because of that, and that the actor is actually for the role and whatnot. That's what I'd hope for more than anything else,
Yeah. I'm all up on news. We're all newsed out. Do you want to? We're going to go into Ark in Space Part 2, Part 3 now.
Part 3.
I just want to say it's been a very chilled episode. We've spoken quite slowly. We haven't really done much jokes.
Yeah.
It's been quite nice. It is quite late. I'm really not well, guys. I do apologise. And
He's on his
neither
way
of us
out.
we don't want to do it by Zoom. We'd much rather be sat together talking about this stuff.
Oh God, yeah, I know.
Next
No,
week's going to be
definitely.
the best of, so you're going to have all the best bits over the last 12 months, all condensed into about 40 minutes, plus the final part of Ark in Space. But for now, we're going to wrap this bit up. Thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. Check out our socials,
thank you.
because as soon as I get the thing that we're doing, that's right, it's an actual thing. I maybe reveal too much.
Yeah.
As soon as I receive it, we're going to announce it. So it's going to be cool. So all the links in the description. Go and find those. And now we're going to go into the Ark in Space part 3.
3, that's the one, not 4.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut it down, pop up!
What's the point in having you all?
Here we are, the Ark in Space part 3. Now then, this is going to be interesting because I have some thoughts about this. But as is tradition, I will save those till last, and I will ask Harrison, what were your thoughts on the Ark in Space part 3? Actually, no, screw
Ark in
that.
Space
My
Part
first
3.
question is, what the heck happened last week? Because I can't remember. I watched it and it started. I was like, I can't remember. I remember there was a guy with a green arm, and that was about it.
Yeah, yes, that's how it ends. So part 2 ends with Noah turning into a Wirren, and his arms that's the cliffhanger essentially. So that's where it opens up part 3. Although he is a Wirren, it is green bubble wrap, but can let it slide. But yes, that's how it opens up essentially, how he's getting slowly taken over by the Wirren.
Yeah.
Which I really like, to be honest, how he's introduced in part 1, and then you get this gradual change throughout the whole 4-parter, which I quite like.
I like his look by the end of it as well, when the cliffhangers of this episode, where he's in the doorway and he's like, it reminded me a lot of Dr. Connors, like when he's transforming into the lizard.
I get what you mean. It was just because I know we talked about it, I think it was either part 2 or part 1 where we talked about how you got this really cool creature design in the Wirren, but it's off camera and it's lying on its back. But here it is in full frame now, and it was awesome to finally see that.
Harry picks it up at one point, doesn't he? I like the way he just casually picks it up.
Yeah, I honestly believe that's kind of one of the most it's just really this whole I really like the Ark in Space, but at times it's the characters are just really unfazed by what's happening. Harry would just touch that or whatnot, or in particular in part 3 when I think it opens up really odd where you hear that computer announcement or whatnot. It opens up really odd because there was any talking for 5 minutes.
This is my note here. Is I wrote that it's clearly just a woman standing out off camera saying her lines.
Audio's a bit off, innit?
She's very loud on my right headphone for some reason. I wonder why. Oh, it's because that's where she stood. But the Doctor doesn't say anything for the first 5.5 minutes. And now normally in Doctor Who, I'd go, if it was an Eccleston thing, I'd be going, oh, what's he thinking? Looking at him and stuff like that. But I'm watching it going, what the hell's going on? Because I'm looking at Tom Baker and I'm like, it's not like I can see him thinking about stuff. It's just
no,
a lot. And I'm going to get into it more in part 4 because I want to talk about it more in part 4 as my general thoughts on Classic Who. But I'm sort of I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah, it's a bit
I can
it's
understand,
just a pile of exposition.
I can understand why it was seen as a joke at the time. I really get it.
Yeah, it's just I mean it's enjoyable, but I just thought that opening's really odd, and then after that, Harry has some really dodgy sexist lines, which I'm just he talks about the totem pole, and I'm just there bro. I mean, man, you got to get with the times.
Yeah,
dude. I know
he's like surprised
70s,
it's a woman. He's like, imagine a woman being in charge. I'm like, the fuck is this?
It's not aged too well in some areas.
But like,
and then I could think, So after you,
no, go for it, man, go for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because then I think they like split up for the 10th time in this last 3 episodes, and I think it's like. And then I think Harry just calls Sarah Jane oh yeah, nurse over here. I'm still bro, I'm like, oh no.
The Doctor and Sarah don't really get much going on over these first 3 episodes.
Yeah, I mean they have their odd moments or whatnot, but it's very contained. But I do like how the Ruin gradually become more and more of a threat. And there ends up being more of them.
Yeah. If this was an actual episode, it would have taken 50 minutes before I actually noticed any tension. And it's just the fact that they realise they don't have enough time to get off the ship, and that's 50 minutes in. There's nothing in episode 1. There's nothing in episode 2. And it's 10 minutes into episode. It's it's 10 minutes plus into episode 3 before anything of any danger starts to happen. And it sort of made me think, did people at the time think that was good story? So why did nobody at the time go, well, let's do that sooner? I can't understand it.
It's very at times when there's things happening, which is cool, but I feel like every time I hear music as well, it kind of grabs my attention. It's okay, we've got some tension happening, because a lot of the time it's just them in the same set having the same chats or splitting up into groups, and I'm there okay, I'm enjoying this, but it's same old. Can we have some more threat, please, or can we up the stakes a bit? It's just slowly happening in part 3, I'll be honest, but I just feel like over the halfway point, it does make me reflect on the first 2 parts and go, okay, but it would have been cool to have everything that's happening right now a lot sooner. But I guess that's harder to comment on because us guys have grown up on New Who, which has more of a brisk pace. Yeah. So it's harder to comment on it. But I'm
cool. All for pacing, and if it's a longer pace, fine.
Yeah.
But also, I'm trying to remember this happened. We've watched this like you would have done back in the day. We've watched one a week,
essentially, yeah.
And it's I can't remember what happened.
That's the thing, because I mean, I've got elements of it in my head. I've got some key ideas, but I a lot of it just kind of does. It blurs into one. You get them all in a room having a chat about a plan, and it's interesting as well. That I've actually just remembered it as now, but we get the introduction of 2 new characters in this episode who wake up, and it's interesting because they just we're entering in other characters in part 3 or 4. No,
it was I don't even remember them appearing. I remember looking at the screen, looking down and making a note, and then looking back and going, who the hell are these? Where did they come from?
Yeah, they've just they just kind of turn up, and it's quite interesting because they just they come out of obviously the whole cryo sleep thing, but then I'm because we're now over halfway into this story now, I'm not really attached to them or anything at this point in time, but it does feel a bit and just having 2 new characters in here again, coming out of the same circumstances, all this happened in part 2 and 1. How's this going to grab my attention?
Yeah. I was thinking about it because I know I was watching it and there's Tom Baker there and he's Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of going I'm watching it. I'm going. I get he is seen as the Doctor, Tom Baker, Doctor Who, and I'm watching it. I'm going. I just don't. There's nothing about it really, and I wonder if the whole thing just hasn't. It's horrible to say because I love it. And I really want to like it, but I'm 3 episodes into this now, and I know it's early days in Tom Baker's run. I'm going, I can't, nothing is really standing out. There was a few bits in episode 1 where he's funny, but now I'm just I don't really, I'm not invested in this.
It's interesting you talk about that because in terms of Tom's Doctor in this, it's very interesting to see this now in hindsight. Obviously, with with New Who as well. But there's this part in part 3 where he gives Vira a gun and he says, "Look, you know, here it is if you have to use it." And I'm there like, "Oh my god, he's just handed her a gun." It's like, oh my god, is that the Doctor? Or is that, I don't know. I thought that was quite. I saw that and that really grabbed my attention. But it's clearly at the time of the airing, you can tell it's meant to be a very like casual line. But then in my head, I'm going, well, like I can't image like any of the New Who incarnations anyway encouraging that or doing that by any means.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say about the Ark in Space?
In terms of, I want to talk. In terms of the third part, I thought the cliffhanger at the end was. It was cool where you get the Doctor face to face, but it just like the ruin just comes out of nowhere, and the Doctor's reaction's like, "Oh, hello." He seems pretty chill. Yeah. And I just thought, okay, I find it so funny because he's so chill, and then you hear the, and I'm there like, oh, all right, I'm okay. I'm meant to be scared, or I don't know.
Yeah. Oh well, let's leave that there.
I was just going to add as well, in terms of our review of this, I know about right as you started watching this, you did text me the words "kill me," so I just thought I'd mention that to show you are so
slow and boring and terrible, and it's horrible because it's Doctor Who, and I should really like it, and I'll talk about it more. Yeah. I'll save it to part 4 because spoilers. We were recording part 4 in a minute. Shall we? Let's take a break and let's talk about. Let's do the recommendation part of the show, and let's recommend something that I think we will both enjoy talking about more. Let's talk about, and we're going to go spoilers. It's been out for nearly a week by the time you listen to this.
Here we go.
Let's talk about Spider-Man No Way Home. How amazing was that?
I'm not going to lie. Now, after, us guys saw it last week, and I've been thinking about it every single day of just how good this film is. And just for a point out before we talk about, we're not going to get into as Tim was saying, we're not going to get into spoilers and whatnot, but in terms of anyone who has seen the trailers, you are aware there are some returning villains in this film. I think they're handled really well. It's not as if they're just here because it's old and it's back, and you know what I mean.
Like I phoned Harry during the week because he went and saw it and we spoke about it, and he really liked it as well. And I was thinking about the villains. I was thinking, they were just all so well done, and they all got screen time. They all got the right amount of time, and they were all portrayed really well. The only one who I would maybe question a little bit was Sandman.
Yeah, potentially, because of things that happen in Spider-Man 3. So, you could say that. I'm not going to get into any more, but I completely, I was like that with, I think it was Sandman and Lizard are probably the two that are like aren't handing as like a lot of attention, but they are important still, and they're there still. And
definitely, So, let's talk about audiences, because we saw this opening night with a Spider-Man. And it's the only time... Look, we go to cinema quite a lot. I say we probably go to cinema once a month.
No, we do.
And there's always somebody in there who pisses me off. When we saw Cruella, there was just two guys all the way through just saying how much they loved certain aspects of the film, and it was quite annoying. And then other films as well we've seen, I'm just like, shut up, what the hell are you doing? But Spider-Man No Way Home did something to me that has never happened before, which is me clapping and cheering during a movie. That's like when happened to you before. When Green Goblin appeared, I was like proper excited. I was like, this is good. And I think what works is that it doesn't... I don't think I've ever said this. It actually lives up and surpasses the hype. that people had for it beforehand.
Hmm.
There wasn't a single
Yeah,
point in this movie where I'm going, oh, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, it just flows so well, but like I get what you mean. Like, you know, I'm always hesitant with a cheering audience, but I was hesitant heading in. It was going to be too much. Like, I'd be cheering every like 10 seconds or something. But it was a great experience, and it really enhanced it. You know, to be in a room with everyone else who cares as highly as us do about this franchise and these characters. It was quite a like magical experience, said the least. You know, to all experience.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the big thing. If people are still listening by now, then they don't care about spoilers.
Are we going to go into spoilers?
We've already got spoilers. I warned people before. If you're still listening, you're an idiot.
We are about to talk spoilers, guys.
When that first portal opens and you can see Spider-Man in the distance.
Start clicking off.
What did you think when that first portal opened?
Right. So as it opened, I can instantly tell it was. And here we go. This is your last chance. 3, 2, 1. It was Andrew Garfield. Yes, I could instantly tell it was Andrew Garfield, and it was the eyes that instantly gave. It was the eyes and the height that
he was
instantly gave it away.
Like that one, like sort of hunched over.
Yeah, no, it was. I thought it was great. I preferred his reveal over Tobey Maguire's, which just felt really out of place in hindsight. It was cool still, but him just turning up in college clothes and just like, you know what I mean? I mean, it's almost like he just turned up on the set. And it's just and it's just like, oh, here he is. Tobey Maguire's. But yeah, I honestly preferred, like, overall, I know we're going all over the place, but overall, I thought Andrew was probably one of the highlights of this film. Over Tobey, which I didn't really think I was going to be saying, and I honestly believe it's because of that scene where he saves MJ.
Yeah.
And it's just, I've played it so many times over on, amazing.
I think it's because we were deprived of seeing that third Andrew film. There was no closure for that for fans. So despite what you think of the Amazing Spider-Man 2, and something that surprised me is people have been texting me going, and Andrew, I asked them about it, and they go, yeah, it's so good to see Tobey, and Andrew was great. And I'm going, yeah, no shit, it's Andrew Garfield. It was great when he did it. It was just like that second movie just wasn't as good. So, but if you watch his performance, he's amazing. And like I grew up with both of those, like you. We both grew up with both of those. So seeing the three of them together is amazing. But there's something about seeing Andrew again that really sort of got me, because there's a bit where he appears and then he whips off the mask and his hair bounces up and it is Andrew Garfield. And the whole cinema went, yes, like that. And it was just so good. And I feel like as well, because an audience of Spider-Man fans will know how much he wanted to be Spider-Man. And sort of, I feel like Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield had the same love for that character. And Tom Holland was lucky enough to be able to see it all the way through, whereas Andrew's
script was all right, decent.
So Andrew's, like, him coming back has been like quite nice, I imagine, for Andrew as well as seeing him again. But yeah, there's a shot, and it's towards the end of the movie, and it's Tobey and Andrew, and they've got their arms around each other. And I remember looking at it going, you know when you can't comprehend what you're seeing because it shouldn't be there. Yeah, it was so good. Yeah.
It was just, it works so well as a film. And in terms of talking about Andrew, I love the chat he has with Tobey. It honestly feels like the actors are talking when, like, Andrew goes, "Oh, I'm lame," almost like that. "Oh yeah, like I'm the worst of the Spider-Man." And you got Tobey Maguire saying, well, you're not. No, you are. Like, he literally calls him
amazing,
using the Amazing Spider-Man, which I thought was so nice, because it's almost like the actors are saying, "Yeah, I'm Tobey Maguire. I'm the one that's in the hearts of a lot of people. You're Andrew Garfield. You know, are the one who is liked but not the most liked." And I'm saying that you are amazing. That really hit me as a fan.
That. Yeah, I picked up on that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a great scene.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think if there's anything. There was something else I wanted to mention, but it's just escaped me. going back through what we just said. Sorry, say something else that you liked whilst I
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean.
Oh, sorry, I remember. I'm going to kick off.
Off you go then. Go for it.
So I spoke. I mean, because I've been to Iceland, I was speaking to a lot of people over the phone. So I was speaking to my family. I was speaking to my mum, and she was asking what I'd been up to. And I said, "Oh, luckily I was able to go see the new Spider-Man movie." She asked what it was like. My mum has no interest in superheroes. She's not a Spider-Man fan. She's not a superhero fan. And I was telling her about it. I said, "Oh, there's this one bit where a portal opens, and the Spider-Man steps through. And they pull off the mask. It's Andrew Garfield from the last movie." And she's going, "Oh, that's cool. It's Tobey Maguire in it." And I went, yeah. And Tobey Maguire's in it. And like she went, "Oh, that's good." And, like even my mum was like, who has no interest in any of this stuff, knew how cool it was that Tobey Maguire had done it. Because she was like, "Oh, he was the original Spider-Man." I'm like, "Yeah, he was, yeah." And like today, my sister went and saw it. Who's like, we've never spoken about movies, me and my sister. And she texts me today, she's like, "I've just been to the cinema to see Spider-Man." And I've never been to see a movie with, like, it's so weird how, like, this movie is, like, making people so excited about stuff, about superheroes.
Yeah. No, honestly. And, yeah, I think that's why this works so well, because as I said earlier, it isn't only reliant on just, like, fan service and whatnot. As a film, and it is Tom's film at the end of the day, and I love the ending to this film. How it in a way, in the end, is like this whole trilogy, this home trilogy, is an origin story, and this is the culmination of that, where he finally hears the words "great power comes great," and it's like, yes, finally, and now and how it ends with just classic Spider-Man. And he doesn't have any of the like iron tech or like strange tech. It's just him, Tom Holland as Spider-Man. He's created his own suit and he's doing his own thing. And he doesn't have a person in his ear. He doesn't have a team. It's just him, and he's Spider-Man.
I did like how it, because I like how it's reset the status quo, but it hasn't reset the status quo to what it already was. It's reset it to what the comics are. So it's exciting because now you've got this world of possibilities. And the fact that people don't know who Peter Parker is opens up that you can now bring in characters like Harry Osborn and people like that who he's never met before.
No. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I like that a lot. I mean, like, I really hope that we do end up with a new trilogy here, because I know there's been a lot in the news about Tom Holland saying he's hesitant to continue or whatnot, and they're like, no, like,
I think he is. I think he's
Spider-Man now. You've just become Spider-Man. Yeah. I'd hope so. Yeah, because I mean, I'll be really disappointed if not, but I just want to say as well, shout out to William Dafoe for because he's absolute psychopath.
What did you call him? What did you call him?
Dafoe.
No, his first name.
William.
Nah, Willem.
That's all. Oh, is that how you say it? The fuck? Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, not William Dafoe.
Oh, I thought that was. Oh, well, I'm clearly in the multiverse, and aren't I? Like, damn. Willem Dafoe.
He's great.
The actor we like. Yeah, no, he's great. That's what I'm trying to say. He's great. I love the fights he has with Tom Holland. They're brutal. They're just absolutely they're slamming, they're going through the floors of the apartment. They're punching each other. It's just insane. It looked like an actual violent punch up, like a proper scrap.
I like the final fight that they have because you hear him say, "Can Spider-Man come out to play?" And it cuts to Toby, and you see Toby's face. And it's like, "Fuck, he's back," and it's so well done. I have a theory.
No, it's great. To hear it? Yeah, of course.
Okay, so it relates to Venom because in the post-credit scene, Venom is the post-credit scene of Venom Let There Be Carnage. Venom enters the MCU, and at the post-credit scene of Spider-Man No Way Home, Venom leaves the MCU. Right?
It's so
But the only way Venom could have entered the MCU, according to Doctor Strange, is everybody who knew that Peter Parker was Spider-Man was brought into the MCU. So that's why you had those villains, and it's why you had Andrew and Toby. But as far as we're aware, there isn't a Spider-Man in the Venom universe. So what made Venom, Eddie Brock, come into the MCU. So he must know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, which then means that there must be a Peter Parker in the Venom universe. So my theory is that because there has been such a big response to Toby and Andrew, that there is a chance that they might set or reset Venom within the Amazing Spider-Man universe.
Yeah, I can image that, to be fair. Like, obviously, I can't image it happening in Toby's well, because obviously, Topher Grace, and we're not going to talk about that. But you've got, and Andrew's, like, I can definitely see that happening in terms of it being in Andrew's well, because obviously, I honestly believe, that, like, after Sony and Marvel become aware to how much cash that they've earned from having Andrew and Toby in this film, they're going to be like, oh yeah, like Andrew Garfield, let's have a third film. Yeah, let's do that.
And I think fans want that. Yeah. I want that. I want to.
No, same. I want
if they said we're gonna make Spider-Man 4, or we're gonna make the Amazing Spider-Man 3, yeah, do it. Let's go for it. Yeah, and I think what better way than just something that is in the air at the moment. Venom. Where is it? Nobody knows. Set it in the Amazing Spider-Man universe.
I could definitely, I can see that, like, working out. I mean, it would be interesting because I know at the end of the Amazing Spider-Man 2, they're clearly teasing the Sinister Six, which doesn't really go anywhere. So it'd be cool if they just like kind of hit the like reset with that and just be like, right, here's Venom now.
Yeah.
Or whatnot. But yeah, I can see that happening as a potential loophole where it turns out this whole time that Venom is from Andrew's timeline. That would be really cool because obviously you've got Sandman, Ock, and Goblin from Toby's universe. That's 3, and so far I've only got like Lizard and Electro. That's 2. Add in Venom. That's like equal share.
Yeah.
That could be really cool. I think it's a cool theory. I hope it comes true. That's what I can say.
Well, let's wrap this one up because I think we've spoken more about the Amazing about No Way Home than we have about Doctor Who news or Ark Space. So thank you very much for listening, guys. Again, thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. Absolutely legendary.
Yeah.
And we will see you. Actually, no, well, we won't. We will see you next week for the Ark Space Part 4. But no news next week. So adios. We'll see you in a bit. Bye.
Adios. Bye.
Make sure you subscribe to the